Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Two things that I'm going to talk about separately. This video, I just want to kind of briefly go over something that's been on my mind as to why I don't like companies, especially SM. Some people feel this way about Hive. I'm not quite sure why, but SM to me is the absolute worst in my opinion. Now, that's just subjective. Objectively, I have no idea which company is the absolute worst, but to me, SM is the worst. And here's why, because they are the godfather of K-pop companies. Everybody knows SM is the godfather. They are the creme de la creme when it comes to the established order of the way things go in K-pop, or the way things have gone because of the leadership set by Lee Seunghan and his SM label, his SM brand, if you will. Yes, he has departed SM and he's no longer the top dog at SM anymore. He's got the other people working there who are taking charge of the company, but it's no better really. I saw a comment one time saying that SM was a little bit better under Lee Seunghan. I don't think SM was better under Lee Seunghan or the new administration that he has in place. I don't think either of them are better. I think both of them are just as bad, really, because crap happened when Lee Seunghan was there and crap is still happening when Lee Seunghan's not there. You know, the Seunghan thing didn't happen under Lee Seunghan. But guess what did happen under Lee Seunghan? Chinese members leaving K-pop groups that were established by Lee Seunghan himself, as well as more serious issues regarding the lives and the mental health of K-pop idols. And every time an idol gets into a mental health crisis, SM distances themselves from the situation, don't even want to bring it up. On the Hive Cleared of Allegations video that I did, someone left a comment. So the comment reads, netizens are the scariest people. There should be a law to protect idols from haters and honestly, hate period, and antis. Many idols had unalived themselves due to malicious comments. The stress is real. Now, this is talking about companies overall, but the company that comes to my mind the most when it comes to this is SM. I know that Sully, I think, had left SM before she had unfortunately unalived, but still she was a part of SM. And it's a stain on SM's reputation as a company that constantly puts out statements saying that they prioritize the safety of their artists, which is a blatant lie when you look at everything that's happened. Even Kim Jong-hyun, and I understand that Jong-hyun suffered from seasonal depression when he was young, before he ever debuted, and it was a known thing. But the stress of idol life didn't make that any better. It made it worse. It actually intensified it. Like, if you think about all of the things that idols have to go through and deal with on a daily basis, constantly being looked at, scrutinized, everything they do, gestures, clothing they wear, places they choose to go eat at, brand deals, who they choose to spend their time with, whether the idols are lip syncing or not, their ability to perform on stage, their weight becomes a topic of conversation. You know, looking at a person in a weird way or being overanalyzed, facial expressions, gestures, everything. The pressure to be perfect in word and in deed, and even physical appearance, is ridiculous. You know, honestly, this is one of the reasons why I started talking about this stuff on my channel, is because I've tried to be separated from all of this. I tried to be the kind of YouTuber that would say, hey, you know what, guys, let's just have fun. You know, let's just react, or if I talk about something, it'll be something fun. But it's like the constant nonsense. The fact that SM distances themselves every time something bad happens. I can understand if it's true. Like if an idol did something they were actually accused of doing. I can understand if they are backing away and distancing themselves. But when they didn't do anything and you make the idol apologize anyway, you know, you have this generic I'm sorry statement, and then SM puts out a statement saying that they're sorry to make it seem like it's more solidified that this idol did what they were accused of, when the truth is they actually didn't. And then we end up with the company basically lying on their artist just so that they can get in good again with the fans and their checkbooks and their wallets and everything. That's all they care about. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this. And the toxic nature of companies claiming that it'll tarnish the reputation of the group if this member stays in, even though they didn't do what they were accused of. Just the accusation alone is enough to derail an entire K-pop group from success. That's toxic and stupid, in my opinion. The news I'm going to talk about in the next video is going to be about Seunghan. I thought I was going to be done with this. I really did. But I'm starting to think about this. And just to give you guys a hint, or should I say a spoiler, I don't think that SM is doing this solo thing with Seunghan for the sake of the OT7 fans. I think they're doing what they did to Lucas to Seunghan. They're only doing this, I feel, for money. Again, I'll get into that in a whole nother video that's going to come up, but I wanted to just take a moment and just kind of voice my opinions straight off the cuff, no script or anything. It's really sickening to see them cater to the toxics. And just like this comment said, there should be laws in place to protect the idols, because sometimes, apparently, when companies threaten legal action, it doesn't really change anything. I remember there was a time when a company threatened legal action against a netizen, and they continued to spread lies about this K-pop idol. And I can't remember which one, so you have to forgive me. I don't have it in front of me. Again, this is unscripted and I'm just talking and just kind of voicing my concerns. But the reason why the netizen did this is to make it seem even more legitimate. That even in the midst of being threatened with legal action, the action that I'm taking to continuously put out this story means that there's some legitimacy to my claims. And that's what I want the court of public opinion to believe. And once they see it, they're going to be like, okay, it has to be true, because they're putting out this stuff even after being threatened by the company with legal action. They're willing to risk getting sued. The truth is they're scared out of their mind, but they want so badly for whatever kind of attention that they are trying to get, or they want so badly to destroy this person's career, which I think is the main issue. It's not so much the attention. It is, but it's not so much that as it is just trying to destroy an idol's life and ruin their reputation and have their livelihood taken away. That's what they really want. And then after the fact, when they realize they've pushed it as far as they could, then they apologize and say, I had no intention to hurt anyone, which is a lie. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And the reason why I'm talking about this and initially talked about SM for a brief moment is because SM has been one of the #1 leading companies in giving a platform to lying netizens and then solidifying the lying netizens by having the idols apologize for stuff they didn't even do. And then when this person who's been threatened with legal action continues to speak lies and the company has their idols apologize for something that they didn't do, it gives the rest of the netizens the impression that this person, there must be some legitimacy to their claims if the company's having the idols apologize. And not only that, they go behind that idol and then they put out a public apology, almost as if to double down on a lie, or should I say a slew of lies. And of course, there is the other side of the coin where legal action is enough to stop people from making up stories, saying things that aren't true about an idol. So there's that too. It's no surprise that netizens believe that half of the time these false victims are actually telling the truth. I'm not saying that this is the occurrence for all victims, or should I say real victims. Real victims should get justice. Real victims should be believed after there's evidence. Y'all know me. I know that the world is becoming a more guilty until proven innocent kind of world, but I have always been and will always be someone who believes in the rule of law, that it is innocent first until proven guilty. And you can make all the claims you want and claim to be a victim all you want. I will give you an ear to hear what you have to say, but at the end of the day, if you don't provide any evidence, you cannot be trusted. And giving a platform to these people who take what they call evidence and they doctor it up and try to make it look like evidence, and then having a Instagrammer call this person, this fake victim, out for taking one of their pictures from a bar or something and doctoring it up to make it seem like, oh yeah, this is where I found this K-pop idol at in this bar. Look, this is just some random picture of a bunch of glasses, you know, a bunch of wine glasses and beer glasses and all that. It's crazy. It's crazy what these people are willing to do to smear idols. It's crazy. And yes, there should be a law, because if these people are willing to doctor evidence and do all of this stuff to these K-pop idols to ruin their lives, they should have some kind of repercussion for that. The funeral wreath culture that was created, all of that stuff, that needs to be a criminal offense. Even if it was kids, fine, juvenile. You can't let these people just get away with stuff like this. And of course, like I said in a previous video, the only reason why SM allowed the funeral wreaths in the first place is because the so-called fans, who aren't really fans, they're toxic, put them in an area where those funeral wreaths can't be removed. They're not obstructing anything. If they're obstructing anything, they will be removed on the spot. And SM could not apparently touch those funeral wreaths because they weren't on SM property. They were off of that property and they weren't obscuring anything. And so it was strategically placed there. And I'm talking about Seunghan's situation. But the whole point that I'm making is SM, the reason why I harp on SM so much is because every time something happens, they try to distance themselves. How often do you hear SM Entertainment talk about Sully and Seunghan? Barely at all. Why? My opinion, they don't want to be anywhere near this kind of stuff. They don't want to talk about it because it's a stain on SM. And it will never be washed away. It will always remain on their record. After all of that, why not try to do better? The whole Seunghan thing, and I'm going to talk about this in another video. You took Seunghan away from not only Rise, but Brise, the actual OT7 fandom. You took them away because the toxic ones in Korea, the only voices you care about in South Korea, the toxic 06ers, they made their voices loud and clear. They didn't want him back. And you caved in and you gave, once again, another toxic group of people a platform to be hateful. And you wonder why people don't support you anymore and why people have said that we're going to still boycott all of SM, not just Rise, all of SM should be punished for it. And it sucks to say that and it sucks to be like that. But when you've pushed a people so far and you've done so much stupid stuff as a company, and you still haven't shown any fruits of change, any fruits of learning from your mistakes and your bad decisions, because you're continuing to do the same thing that you did before. What makes you think that these people are going to still support you? Some of them will, of course. But what makes you think that people are going to continue to support you when you do things like this? What makes you think that people want to support a company that continues to not defend their idols from toxic people online and right outside of their own goddamn building? It's ridiculous. Isn't it ridiculous? And again, the straw that broke the camel's back for me was Seunghan. Once he passed, my heart shattered in a million pieces. And the company that I once believed in had caused me to be forever disillusioned with them. I'm not saying that the company is solely responsible, because again, Seunghan had been suffering with depression for a long time, for years, like before he ever debuted. But it intensified because of the pressures of idol life. SM not providing any means of help to not only Seunghan, but other idols as well. Getting these idols the help they need, mentally, emotionally, having someone to talk to, I don't know, something. You guys couldn't have done anything? Because Seunghan would probably still be alive. Sully would probably still be alive. And God bless Sully, because I know she wasn't in the company anymore at that point. She had left. But still, the amount of hatred that these fans, these netizens, have been throwing at idols just for existing is insane. I think all idols get scrutinized heavily. To be honest, I think all idols get scrutinized way more heavily than the normal average citizen in South Korea. So, that's up for debate as to the intensity of the scrutiny. But regardless of the scrutiny, the pressure to be the best, the most perfect human being in society that you can be weighs heavily on public figures in South Korea. Now, again, there's good pressure and there's bad pressure. Pressure to do your best at whatever you're doing for whatever reason, scholarships, pushing the kids to do better in whatever field that they are interested in for the purpose of getting a better job, for the purposes of making your country proud and all that stuff, and just having a better life for yourself in the long haul with whatever you're trying to achieve in life. I think those pressures are good. Those societal, and I hate to call them pressures, but for lack of a better way of saying, they are societal pressures that are good for the youth of whatever generation the older generation is speaking to, right? Pressure makes diamonds, as you know. But then there's the pressure to be as perfect as you can, to look perfect, to act perfect, have a clean slated record, meaning no smoking, no drinking, no dating, idols being marketed as divine beings and perfect in every way, shape, and form. All the while the companies are thriving off of the parasocial relationships formed by the idols and the fans. You're always seen as this polite gentleman or wonderful lady, and you're not allowed to be yourself entirely in the industry. And then you have in the society, you have to look a certain way, and the industries perpetuate it by selling you the fantasy of this is perfection. Industries, all they do is perpetuate and honestly glorify the vanity of perfection, subjective perfection. And in America, it's the same way, in the sense that industries glorify the vanity, of being vain, looking at yourself in the mirror and going, ooh. And there's nothing inherently wrong with looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing the problems and wanting to fix them. But where is the sense of my looks are not all that define me? Where is the sense of my character, my genius, my intellect, my intuition, my giftings, my talents, my craft, my likes, my dislikes? Who am I willing to honor? Who am I willing to serve? Who can I be a blessing to? Who can I help on my journey of life? Who can I impact in a positive way? These things are put on the back burner in place of the vanity of looking perfect, being perfect, having a perfect sound. When you speak, you say all the right things at all the right times. And the companies teach you how to do that. They teach you how to fake perfection. It also teaches you good things too, like manners and things like that, so that I'm not bashing it completely. You need to be taught manners and etiquette, and being taught how to deal with the public and the media. You need to know how to do that. So I'm not saying that that's wrong. Everybody needs media training, right? If you're going to be in a high position, you need media training so you can say what you need to say and not deviate, right? Be scripted in that sense on a professional level. But then there's the obsession with perfection that becomes toxic. I'm going to be trying to dive into this as best as I can in later videos, but I wanted to just kind of talk, just talking. I'm just talking, guys. I'm just talking, okay? This is not a well fleshed out video. I just had to say this because I look at the state of K-pop. I look at the leading K-pop companies, and there's been improvements in the society of Korea. All right, it's not all doom and gloom. I'm just pointing out the fact that it's still at a level where companies are allowing these toxic netizens to have a platform, and the perfection standards that these netizens place on idols, they are not willing to place upon themselves, because I can smoke and drink all day long. I'm not an idol, so it doesn't apply to me. But since you're an idol, you have to be the perfect representation of what a perfect, flawless, holy human being is supposed to do and look like and sound like. Not me. Not me. I can do what I want. You have to be the shining, beautiful symbol of perfection in all manner of life choices and lifestyles. And then, of course, there's the obsession and the parasocial aspect of feeling like you're entitled to some part of the idols' lives. That's destructive too. It just applies more pressure on these idols than they already have. They already got enough, trust me. But I'm going to go more in depth with this in like a more structured video. I just wanted to vocalize my feelings on this because it's so important that we not forget that idols are human beings just like we are, and the industry is trying to sell us a product, not just music. Oftentimes we think about music being the product. It's not just the music that's the product, guys. It's the idols. The idols are being thrown at us as product, and we to the companies are seen as nothing more than cash. Really, that's what it is. That's why it's important for us to make sure that they know and realize we are not empty shells of human beings who are just cash to you, because we can pull our cash away from you and then teach you a lesson. We can plummet your stocks ourselves. We can do that. The power is in the fans. We have that power to do that. Just like those toxic fans had the power to change SM's mind about putting Seunghan back with Rise. We have the power to do the opposite of that. And so we need to exercise our power in this season. This year, if you are fed up with the way that the industry treats you and treats their artist, and you want to speak out, sometimes words fall on deaf ears. But I can promise you this, something that never falls on deaf ears is withdrawing financial support. Point blank period. It never fails. Stocks will plummet, and maybe you invested stocks in some of these companies. The stocks will plummet. Guess what? Let it plummet. Why? Because a lesson. These companies need to be humbled, and the toxic netizens need to be put in their place. Yes, put in their place. They need to be brought to heel, because this kind of toxicity being allowed by companies will only breed more toxicity in the future and in the years to come. The more that they feel like they can get away with this, the more emboldened they will become to do it more and more and more and more and more. And the less we act and retaliate against it, the weaker our voices become, to the point where we are completely drowned out by all of the toxicity because we refuse to take action, right? We refuse to stand against this stuff, and we become passive and we become lax, and we can't do that anymore. It's not just for the sake of K-pop and preserving K-pop. My concern, more than the music, is the people, the young men and women who are K-pop idols who are struggling because of the pressure to be perfect. We want dating to be normalized in K-pop. We want relationships to be normalized in K-pop. We want all of this stuff to be normalized. But the opposing side says that it isn't normal for these people to date and have human interactions and create real relationships and not parasocial ones with fans at the behest of the company, because the company said do it. Which is another thing I do want to point out. There was somebody in the comments that were saying, well, you know that some of these idols actually do it of their own accord, and they perpetuate the parasocial stuff because they flirt with their fans or whatever. Yes, but that's a part of the business. That's a part of the tactic. And I actually need to find that comment so I can actually make a video on it, because I think that comment is very, I might have actually talked about it in a video, but I might need to go back to it and revisit it if I have, because we need to talk about this even more. And it kind of falls along the lines of what I'm talking about with regards to the unrealistic standards of perfection in Korean society and in the industries in South Korea. Okay, it all falls into place. Again, I'm going to do a more in-depth video, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on this and just kind of speak from the heart. But yes, let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more content from your boy. And until next time, it is your boy, Moonlight, signing out. Peace. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.